Hi everyone, let's talk about analysis paragraphs and what your body paragraphs will look like for your rhetorical analysis of an advertisement paper. So, first of all, I want to remind all of you to make sure you're looking at the assignment sheet for this paper as well as the sample student paper, specifically for this one, looking at the different body paragraphs and how they have a topic sentence, move through the details, and then wrap up each of the body paragraphs. And that can serve as a really good model for you as you are writing these body paragraphs. So remember, you have an outline by this point, and that outline should have several different types of details from the ad that you're going to be analyzing. Maybe you're going to spend a paragraph talking about the person who's featured in the ad, and then you're going to spend a paragraph talking about the background and the scene of the ad, and then there's a paragraph for the colors in the ad, right? And so how do you then turn these each of these points on your outline into well-developed analytical paragraphs that analyze the details of the ad? So, just like the last time we talked about paragraph structure, the paragraph structure is basically the same. It's just each of these different parts of the paragraph, the topic sentence, the support, and then the concluding sentences, have a little bit different purpose because it's an analytical paragraph as opposed to a more narrative or storytelling or personal type of paragraph. So, you still begin with the topic sentence. In this case, the topic sentence, though, will identify a particular element of the ad. So, the topic sentence might identify that this body paragraph is going to be about the colors, or this body paragraph is going to be about, the background. Then you pull in support. So the first thing you'll do after your topic sentence is begin to talk about, a very detailed description of the element that you're analyzing. So if this paragraph is about the person in the ad, you're going to describe in great detail using a lot of very vivid descriptive language so that your audience could picture that person. What do they look like? What is their facial expression? So you're going to give a very detailed description of that element of the ad. And then your explanations and commentary is going to be analysis of those details, okay? And so we'll talk about what that will look like, but you don't just want to explain what you see or observe in the ad. You want to explain what you see and observe and then analyze those details and talk about what they mean and why they matter and how they impact the audience and how they work together to achieve the purpose of the ad. And of course, then you're going to have concluding sentences that wrap it all up and connect back to the overall thesis. As with any paragraph, you don't want to leave it hanging. You always want to come in the end. So we've been taking a look at this as an example of the rhetorical analysis paper, this Johnnie Walker ad, and this thesis, which we've shown a couple times in class already, so you're already familiar with it. And you have an outline that looks something like this. So not only do you have, first I'm going to analyze the scene, then the colors, then the women, then the man, then the words, but we've started to turn the outline into some statements or some phrases instead. And from there, we're going to take those phrases and turn them each into topic sentences. So this is dealing with the third paragraph here, the women in sexual poses. And here is what the topic sentence for that might look like. The men and women in the ad contribute to the ad by adding to the scene of hedonism. So the topic sentence is going to identify the main element being analyzed, in this case, the men and the women in the ad. And then it's also going to make a statement about those men and women and how they add to the thesis. So in this case, they add to the scene of hedonism. That's our topic sentence. It identifies what we're talking about and offers some overall statement as to how that element of the ad connects to the thesis or the purpose or the vibe of the ad or the messaging of the ad. From there, we move on to the second part of the paragraph, the support. In this case, explaining the topic sentence and then supporting your point with details, evidence, examples, argument. In this case, those details are what you see in the ad, a very descriptive account of the element that you pointed out in the topic sentence. So remember the ladder of abstraction. Your topic sentence makes a general claim. Then you want to provide specific examples, data, and objects, then analyze those, then provide another specific detail. So we're traveling the ladder of abstraction throughout this paragraph. Here we go. Highlighted here is the middle section of the paragraph, which is the support. In this case, description of what we see in the ad. The women wear cocktail or formal dresses in bold jewel tones. Their poses and actions tend to be suggestive of sensuality and self-indulgence. Very specific examples follow that. And we have this transition, for example, that shows that now I'm going to get really detailed and give a particular example of one woman. She stares alluringly at the viewer of the ad while stirring the gigantic pot of honey. So notice we have some vivid word choice here to really help people see and picture in their mind what the element of the ad looks like. She's clutching the stirring stick with her legs spread wide. Another woman pictured behind the man in the chair seems to be tipping a liquid into her mouth, leaning back with her mouth open, making eye contact with the viewer. So detailed description of what you see in the ad. And that should be in the middle of the paragraph. Again, after that detailed description, you always want to offer some analysis of, okay, so here's what the women are doing. Why is that important? Why is that significant? How does that relate to the overall message of the ad? So the concluding sentences can help you do that. You're going to explain the importance of what you've just described. You're going to connect back to the thesis of the overall messaging of the ad, the overall suggested, implied, message of the ad, the overall emotional appeal of the ad, or the association that the ad is making. These are the same tips that we talked about last time we talked about paragraphs. So it's not just a restatement. It's not just a rephrase of the topic sentence. Instead, it can look like this. So we've described the women and then we wrap it up. The incorporation of these women in the ad will work to associate the liquor with the fantasy of an aristocratic lifestyle, its accompanying sensual and sexual pleasures, and further connects the product to luxurious abundance. So here underlined are some key terms that help me show how the details of the women are connected to my thesis about this over-the-top abundance aristocratic type of lifestyle. So connection to the thesis are the underlined parts. So reminder of the paragraph structure, identify the element of the ad, provide a detailed description of what you see in that element of the ad, and then analyze that description and offer an overall wrap-up that connects back to the thesis. You also want to be considering audience and purpose. So remember we talked about in class how these analysis that you're offering should be purposeful. You should be offering some social commentary about how these types of advertisements work and what makes that problematic, or what does that say about our culture? What does that say about us that we buy into this type of advertising? So always towards the ends of paragraphs, that's a really good way to connect to your sense of audience and purpose is, okay, so these women are pictured here. Why is that important? Or what does that say about us as a culture? Or how does that play into, gender stereotypes or something like that, right? So you can get sort of social commentary here on part 3 as well. One final reminder is to make sure as you're stringing these paragraphs together to create a really good sense of flow, always begin the paragraph. So in addition to the topic sentence, you want to begin each paragraph with a link to what came before it. So how are the women connected to the man, right? And you want to think about how you can create some logical links at the beginning of each paragraph that shows how it follows from what you've previously said. So now you want to take a look at your outline and think about the paragraphs that you can already begin to build using this type of structure. Topic sentence, evidence, analysis, and concluding sentences. That's all. Good luck on your drafts.